Peace, YouTube. It's the Soul Bender right here coming back through. About to do another video exposing the false doctrine of Islam. The Holy Quran, you know what I'm saying, the Sunnahs, the Hadiths. I got all the proof that this Islamic literature and so-called revelation does not come from the true creator. So I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. To send some positive energy, some good vibes through. Now right here, first of all, I want to say Muhammad of 1400 years ago of Arabia was a prophet of Islam. He invented this religion. He came with the Quran. There wasn't no Quran, no Islam before Muhammad. When Muhammad was 53 years old, he said he was given a revelation from his God Allah to marry a 6-year-old girl. So he got engaged to this girl Aisha when she was 6 years old. When she turned 9 years old, that's when he consummated the marriage. So he had sex with a 9-year-old because Allah told him that this was a prophecy that had to be fulfilled. Okay, so the true creator who's operating on the frequency of love is not going to be having a grown man, have sex and intercourse with a 9-year-old. Okay, that didn't come from the creator. That's clearly a man being a pedophile, and he's using this religion to, execute his lust on whomever he please. So now, to back that up with a further verse, we can go into the Quran. In the Quran, verse 65, verse 4, it talks about how a man is supposed to divorce his wife. And if his wife is pregnant or on menopause or doesn't have a cycle at all, there are certain conditions that she have to fulfill in order for the divorce to be finalized. So when a woman is pregnant or on menopause, she has to wait for 90 days before the divorce is finalized. Now, if a female hasn't had her cycle yet, she also has to wait for 90 days before the divorce is finalized. But what kind of female doesn't have a cycle or hasn't had her cycle yet, other than a young girl? And it says right here, Surah 65, verse 4, and those who have not yet had their courses or cycles also have to wait a period of 90 days before their divorce is finalized. So it's teaching you how to divorce a young girl, so young she hasn't even had her period yet. So again, this so-called revelation doesn't come from the creator. This is clearly demonic and satanic, or it comes from man at the least. It comes from Muhammad at the least. Now, Surah 4, verse 34, it talks about how a man should deal with his wife and discipline his wife. And in a part of the verse, it says, abandon your bed with them, don't sleep with them, and also beat them. But if they obey you, seek not a way against them. So in other words, beat your wife into submission. So again, the creator is not condoning this behavior. It would be better to divorce the woman, before it gets to that point. Sometimes things happen. If things like that do happen, definitely it's best for y'all to get a divorce so nothing like that ever happens again. But that's not in the Quran. It's telling you to beat your wife into submission. So this does not come from the creator. So these people are worshiping and serving a God that condones pedophilia, marrying little girls, and showing you how to divorce them, and beating them. So when you marry this little girl, you can beat her ass as well if she disobeys you. Okay, this is in the Quran. Now, Surah 33, verse 37, it talks about how, again, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, he married, or rather stole, his adopted son's wife. He had an adopted son named Zayd. He liked Zayd's wife, so he convinced Zayd that he got a revelation from Allah to say that he's supposed to marry Zayd's wife. He's supposed to be with her. So again, this is manipulation. This doesn't come from the prime source creator. This is a false revelation. Okay, so the verse says, when Zayd was finished with her, meaning his wife, or through with her, we gave her to you, Muhammad, as a wife, so the believers would not have difficulty for the respect of your wife, of your adopted son. So what that means is when Muhammad took his adopted son's wife, it was a disgrace in the community. The Muslims were saying, Muhammad, you're pathetic. You had to take your own son's wife. You already got a 9-year-old wife. Now you just stole your son's wife. Like, what kind of man are you? What kind of prophet are you? This is terrible. This is pathetic. So Muhammad conveniently got a revelation that says that when Zayd was finished with his wife, we gave her to you, Muhammad, as a wife, so the believers would not have difficulty for the respect of your wife, of your adopted son. So in other words, this man took his own son's wife, but yet he's a prophet of God, and he's saying that this is a revelation, that he didn't want to take his son's wife. He didn't want to marry his son's wife. Again, he said this is a revelation from Almighty Allah, the all-knowing, the all-wise creator, who told him to do this. So this is Muhammad's God, and this is the God of all the Muslims, okay, where you could clearly see that this is completely fabricated. Like, it's clearly a man just doing what he wants to do and using his new religion to manipulate people and have his way. So now let's go further. We're going to go into a hadith. Hadith Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 3411. It was narrated from Anas that the Messenger of Allah had a female slave. Muhammad had a female slave. Okay? Islam condoned slavery. With whom he had intercourse with. He had a female slave he was having sex with. Okay? Muhammad's. This is in a hadith. But Aisha and Hafsa, who were his 2 other wives, wouldn't leave him alone about it and nagged him about it and made him swear an oath saying that the slave girl was forbidden to Muhammad. Okay? So when Muhammad took the oath to his wives that the slave girl is forbidden and that he won't have sex with his slave girl anymore, then Muhammad suddenly gets a revelation from Allah saying this. Surah 66, verse 1 through 2. It says, O Prophet, why do you forbid for yourself that which Allah has made lawful? Allah has sanctioned for you the expiation of your oath. Allah is your protector. Okay, so when Muhammad said that this girl is forbidden for him, Muhammad is now saying that Allah gave him this revelation saying, why have you forbidden for yourself that which is not forbidden to you? So in other words, Muhammad saying this slave girl who I own is not forbidden to me. I can have sex with her because she's my slave and I own her. And it says Allah has made lawful and has sanctioned for you your expiation of your oath. So in other words, when Muhammad took that oath to his wife that he would never have sex with this slave girl again, Allah made an expiation, meaning that Allah took care of it for him. So now the debt or whatever has been paid. It's no longer a sin. It's been taken care of. An expiation has been made. So your oath is voided out, and Allah is your protector. So Allah is protecting the man who is cheating on his wives with his slave girl who he's having sex with. So again, Muhammad is saying that his God Allah gave him permission to have slaves and to have sex with his slaves, even though he has multiple wives already. So this clearly is a false religion. It's made up. Like, I haven't even got deep into it yet. But from the jump, a lot of Muslims, they not using common sense. This is not from the Creator. This is completely made up. This comes from archons and demons and you know what I mean, spiritual forces in dark places. Okay, spiritual wickedness. All right. So look, we're finna go over to the next page real quick. All right, now we finna deal with slavery again. We finna go to Surah 23, verse 5 through 6. It says, talking to the Muslims, to guide your private parts, except for your spouses and those whom your right hand possess, for surely there is no blame on you. Now what that means is Muslims men cannot have sex with anyone except their spouses, meaning their mates, their wives, and it says except whom your right hand possesses. So when it says that your right hand possesses someone, it means that you own a slave. You're a slave owner. So when you own a female slave as a Muslim man, you can have sex with that female slave. You may have captured in war. The Muslims went to war with other people who weren't Muslims because they want to dominate and conquer and rule these people. So it says there is no blame on you. So Allah is telling them that, again, you can have slaves and you can have sex with your slaves. You can rape your slaves. Even if your slaves don't want to have sex with you, there is no blame on you because it's part of the Islamic religion to have slaves and for the men to rape the female slaves. I'm going to read it for you again. Surah 23, verse 5 through 6. Guard your private parts, O Muslims, except for your spouses and those whom your right hand possesses, for surely there is no blame on you. Okay? So this does not come from the Creator. This comes from man, archons, demons, devils. Okay? It's a doctrine of devils. The Creator is not going to sanction, laws that condone enslaving other people that don't share your faith and the raping of their women. Okay? Islam started something called the Sub-Sahara slave trade. That's when the Arabs went over into Africa and began conquering and dominating the original people of the earth and forcing Islam on them when the people had already been on this earth for millions of years before Islam even existed. There wasn't no Allah or no Muhammad or no Quran or anything of that nature. Okay, so this is completely new. This is some new age shit. Islam is new age. The Bible is new age. Christianity is new age. So Islam was not spread by peace. It was spread by the sword in war and a raping of black women. Okay, Islam is not the religion of the original people, of the natural indigenous people of this earth, which is us, black people. Okay, and I'm going to prove that further as I go into this Islamic literature, because all of this can be looked up and researched easily. I'm giving you the verses. Okay, now Surah 33, verse 52, it says, it is not allowed for you to take women nor exchange them for other wives, though their beauty be pleasing to you, except for what your right hand possesses. Allah is watchful. So what it's saying is, it is not lawful for you to take women or kidnap women and exchange them for other women that are beautiful. Like you want to change women, exchange women. I got these two women over here. You got them two over there. Let's swap these out. Okay, mine is fine, yours is fine too. We can switch up. It's saying you cannot do that. Okay? Even though their beauty be pleasing to you. Except for which your right hand possesses. Allah is watchful. So now if I have two female slaves that I own, not my wives, not my girlfriends, but my slaves, now we can exchange them. Okay? Now we can swap them out. Now we can, trade them. Slave trade. Okay, this is female sex slave trading. Again, I'm going to read it again. It is not lawful for you to take women, nor exchange them for other wives, though their beauty be pleasing to you, except for which your right hand possesses. Allah is watchful. So when it says, except for which your right hand possesses, I mean you could do whatever the hell you want to do with them because they are your slaves. So Islam condones slavery. Allah condones slavery. So if you're a black man and a black woman and you're following Islam, you're still a Muslim, you following Muhammad, then you don't know who you are. You don't know your history. You don't know the history of Islam. You're a fool. Okay? And it's okay because I was a Muslim too. I was a fool for a long time and I was defending this crap. And there's black people out here that would die for this, that would kill for this. But you're deceived because you're a slave in your mind. You don't know who you are. And you don't know the history and the origin of the things that you're following. So it's very imperative that our people come out of Islam. Islam is a part of Babylon. It's a part of Christianity. It's the same ideology. Okay, just a little twist, has some differences, but foundationally it's the same ideology. It's Babylon, it's lies, it's doctrine of devils, it's bullshit. It's not from the Creator. The Creator ain't gonna condone slavery. These Arabs ran with this shit and they forced Islam on our people through slavery. That's how black people became Muslims in Africa and all over the world through the sub-Saharan slave trade. Muhammad and the religion of Islam, they were the first people to do slavery on a global scale. They started the worldwide global slave trade, shipping people to different countries, importing other people from other countries. The Arabs started this, and they taught the white man and other people how to do it. So Islam is responsible for the global slave trade of the indigenous people of this earth. Okay, Islam is against us. It's against black people, and I'm going to prove that. Now, where we at? We in Surah 3, verse 32. It says, Allah does not love the unbelievers. Surah 3, verse 32 is proof that Allah only loves the Muslims. He does not love the unbelievers. So if you're not a believer in the Quran, you're not a Muslim, Allah does not love you. That means Allah is only for the people who accept Islam and call themselves Muslims. Which means Allah is not the universal prime source divine creator of the all in all. Okay? Allah is, again, an ancient Sumerian Anunnaki God. Allah is a powerful, multi-dimensional being from higher dimensions. And the higher dimensions are futuristic. They are in the future. They don't have time. Time don't exist in the higher dimensions. So these beings literally come from the future. Time only exists here in this third dimension because it's part of the construct of this universe. Time, space, and matter. Okay? So Allah is not who He say He is. Allah is a deceiver. Allah is not the supreme being. He's not the Most High. He's not the creator of everything that exists. He don't know all. He don't see all. He don't hear all. He's a liar. Okay? And He only loves, it says, Allah does not love the unbelievers. So He only loved the Muslims. Again, Surah 33, verse 64. Allah has cursed the unbelievers and has prepared for them a burning fire. So what does that tell you? Allah has cursed everybody on this earth who is not a Muslim and has prepared a fire for all of us who don't want to accept this religion of slavery. Allah is not the true creator. He's not God. He's not powerful. He's not the Most High. Whatever label you want to put, on a supreme force. All right? So again, He says He's going to burn them in the fire. So He's dealing with fear. Fear is the lowest vibration in this universe. And love is the highest frequency. Okay, so Allah deals with fear. An archon. Okay, somebody who wants to rule over you and dominate you, keep you in fear and have you scared and make you serve him through fear so he can absorb and feed off of your energy. You literally keeping Allah, Allah. That's why Allah says fear Allah. Talk Allah, fear Allah. Because He operates on fear. He feeds off of fear. Allah is a demon. He's an archon that feeds off the energy of fear. He is not the Most High. He is not the prime source creator. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. Now let's keep going. It's Surah 9, verse 29. Allah is saying, fight those who do not believe in Allah in the last day until they pay you the tax money or submit to Islam. So again, Islam is not a religion of peace. It was spread by slavery and war. The Arabs enslaved the African people on the earth. And after the African people, the indigenous people was forced into Islam after generations through the sub-Saharan slave trade, which is worse than the Atlantic Christian slave trade. The black people, the African people, became Muslims through generational curses. Okay? So they was born into Islam through slavery. It was forced on them. They ain't know any better, just like Christianity was forced on us. Alright? And this happened before the Christian slave trade. The Arabs enslaved and destroyed the indigenous people of this earth for 1,400 years. Okay? So the Arabs and the religion of Islam is not for us. So again, Surah 9 verse 29, Allah says, fight those who do not believe in Allah in the last day until they pay you the tax money or submit to Islam. Tax money meaning it's extortion. Like, nigga, you gonna pay us $500 a month for us to leave you the fuck alone since you don't want to be a Muslim. Okay, that's cool. You don't want to be a Muslim, you gonna pay us. Or you gonna submit, or you gonna accept Islam if you don't want to pay. Or we gonna kill you. Those are your options. And Muslims was coming through with armies, running it like this. This is what it was, conquering lands. This how Islam spread. Okay, this is in the Quran. So Allah condones war. He condones slavery. He condones extortion of people who are not Muslims. So just because you're not a Muslim, now you got to pay the Muslims money every month or they're going to kill you. And the only way to stop them from killing you is to be a Muslim. So this is being forced on you. Okay, Surah 9, verse 123. Fight the unbelievers who are near to you, who are close to you, and let them find hardness in you. Why does it say that? Because when Muslims dominate lands and conquer lands, and the majority of the people in that land is Muslims, okay, they start running shit. And they are real harsh and stern and violent towards the non-Muslims because they want to instill fear in people because Allah has instilled fear in them. So they use these fear tactics on other people. So it's not a religion of peace. It's not a religion of love. It's not a religion of kindness. It's not a religion of tolerance. It's not a religion of mercy. It is a religion of war and dominance. It was spread by the sword. Okay? So these Muslims don't have no mercy. They feel like they have a right to do whatever they want to do because it's in their doctrine. It's in the Quran. It's in the Hadiths. So they feel like they are justified in their actions, which is a false doctrine. Just because somebody wrote it down don't mean that the shit is righteous. It ain't. It's the doctrine of a devil. Now, we finna go over here to the Hadiths again. Sahih Bukhari, Hadith 6,922. It says, according to the statement of Allah's messenger, whoever changes his Islamic religion, then kill him. So anybody who is a Muslim, according to Islamic law, according to Sharia law, once you become a Muslim, you in for life. If you don't want to be a Muslim no more, you want to change your religion or your spirituality, according to Islamic law, you are to be put to death. Okay, this is another clear fact that this is not from the Creator. The Creator ain't going to say, oh, you don't want to acknowledge me no more, you want to serve other gods, or you want to be your own God, or whatever it is you want to do, you don't want to be a Muslim, okay, you're to be put to death, you're to be executed. This is an archon. Okay, this is somebody ruling over people and human beings who don't even like people and human beings. Okay, this entity does not like man. It hates the original man. Allah does not like the original man. Allah does not love the black man and the black woman. Islam, Allah had us raped, enslaved, and destroyed. Okay, and had our minds destroyed mentally and had us destroyed spiritually. Islam ain't doing nothing for black people in the world, period. Okay, because it's not our culture, it's not our customs, it's not our spirituality. So it's saying that if you want to leave this religion, you are to be put to death. And this is still going on to this day. If you look it up in other countries where people said they didn't want to be Muslims no more, they realized something wrong with this shit. This shit ain't right. This shit ain't from the true creator. They was either put to death, they was put in prison, or they was exiled from their country. They was kicked out their land, and they had to go live in a foreign land because they was no longer accepted in their country because they didn't want to be Muslims no more. Like, this shit is real. They still doing this shit to this day. Okay. Now we're finna go to another hadith. Sahih Bukhari, hadith 2540. It says, carry out the legal punishment on relatives, strangers, and do not let fear or blame stop you from carrying out the commands of Allah. Okay? So that means if you got family members who don't want to be Muslim no more, your mom don't want to be Muslim, your dad, your kids, your cousins, your aunties, like, you supposed to turn them into the authorities and said, my auntie said she don't believe in Islam. My mom said she don't believe in Allah. You know what I'm saying? My son, my daughter said they don't want to be Muslims. You're supposed to turn them into the authorities. That's the law, and they're supposed to be put to death. This is in their literature, in their laws. It says, carry out the legal punishment on relatives, strangers, and do not let fear or blame stop you from carrying out the commands of Allah. All of their laws. This is just one of their laws. They got other, severe, strict laws. Like if you commit, fornication, like if you have a girlfriend and they find out that you intimate with this girlfriend and you're not married to her, the punishment is 10 lashes on the back with a whip. Or, adultery. You know what I'm saying? You'll be stoned to death. You know what I'm saying? So some of these countries, they very strict in extreme with these laws, and this shit is not from the creator. Okay, you shouldn't be put to death, for cheating on your spouse. It's definitely wrong. You should be divorced for it. You know what I'm saying? But if that spouse wants to forgive you, then who's to say you should be put to death? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe y'all should just go y'all separate ways. But that's how you know these laws don't come from the creator. It says if you leave Islam, you should be put to death. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this stuff is extreme. This is not from the creator. All right. Got another one for you. We talking about, it was an invasion in the city of Medina in Saudi Arabia. Okay. It was a tribe of Jews in Medina. They was not Muslims. Okay, they was Jews. They was some of the original Jews. They was black. They wasn't none of these white Arabs. They was dark-skinned people who lived in Medina. They was some black Jews. Okay, so they lived there for centuries, for thousands of years. All right. Muhammad told this tribe, the name of their tribe was called Banu Qurayza. He told them that, okay, I'm running Medina. Okay, the Muslims, we strong now. We 10,000 strong. We taking over this shit. So y'all got to accept Islam. Okay, if y'all don't accept Islam, we're going to kill all of y'all. So the Jews told them that we would rather die than to worship your new God, Allah. We would rather die than to accept your new religion. Okay, we know that Allah is not the true creator. Okay, we know who the creator is. We're not serving Allah. So that day, Muhammad had 600 to 900 men and boys' heads chopped off in one afternoon. They were all beheaded, up to 900. And a man in Islam is considered a boy from the age of puberty. So if you like 13, you consider a man in Islam. So that's why I said men and boys. So 900 heads rolled in one afternoon because these ancient people did not want to accept Muhammad's new religion. They did not want to accept Islam because they know it's made up. It ain't the truth. It ain't from the true creator. It's called the invasion of Banu Qurayza. And after they executed Banu Qurayza, all the women and children became slaves of the Muslims. This is how Muslims get slaves. That's why the Quran talk about who your right hand possesses. You can do what you want to do with them. You can sell them, trade them, exchange them, have sex with them, whatever, because, you know what I'm saying, you own them. Your right hand possesses them. And I'm going to come back to this situation with Banu Qurayza because it has something to do with the death of Muhammad. Now, again, here's another hadith, Sahih Bukhari hadith 7263. It says, Allah's messenger was staying in the attic, and a black slave of Allah's messenger was at the top of the stairs. So Muhammad was up in the attic, and at the top of the stairs is where Muhammad told his black slave to stand. Go wait at the top of the stairs. Stay at the top of the stairs for me or whatnot. So this hadith is given a situation where it shows that Muhammad had black slaves. So when you come into Islam, a lot of black people is ignorant, and they tell you that Muhammad freed the slaves. No, he did not free the slaves. He freed people who accepted Islam. So if you say, I want to be a Muslim, okay, now you're not a slave no more per se, but now you're a slave to Islam. You can't even leave Islam or they're going to put you to death. So you just traded one slavery for another slavery. So Muhammad said the people who accepted Islam, he freed them. No, you didn't. You just enslaved them into your new religion. Okay, so he did not free the slaves, and he had black slaves. The reason why he had black slaves, because these black slaves did not accept Islam. They knew who they are. They knew who they were, and they wasn't willing to accept Islam. So they said, I'd rather be a slave than to follow this new religion and worship this God Allah. This ain't my God. Like my ancestor been here for millions of years. My ancestors been here for millions of years. So you could never, come with a new faith and tell me who I am and who the Creator is. And especially with all these crazy ass laws and shit, these are not universal laws. Okay, so Muhammad had slaves. He had black slaves. He did not free all the slaves. He had slaves in Islam, and the people that he freed became his slaves through the religion. They still had to serve him and obey him as a prophet. Okay, so now Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 3858. Rifa'ah bin Zayd gave the messenger of Allah a black slave called Mid'am. Okay, so Rifa'ah bin Zayd is a Muslim man who gave the messenger of Allah, Muhammad, a black slave called Mid'am. Okay, so Muslims, again, showing you the slave trade. One Muslim giving the Prophet of Islam a black slave, probably as a gift. Here, Muhammad, you take this one. Okay, so it's again showing Muhammad not only had slaves, he had black slaves. Why did Muhammad have black slaves if he was so righteous, so noble, so great, so merciful? They said that Muhammad was a mercy to all of humanity. How can you be a mercy to all of humanity when you were enslaving the God of humanity, the original people of humanity? The black people is earth. So Muhammad is a fraud, he's a liar, he's not a merciful man. He's a slave trader who did not like black people. And on top of that, check this out. Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 6081. Abdul Juhayfa said, I saw the messenger of Allah. He had a white complexion and some white hairs. So Muhammad had a white complexion. Muhammad was a white Arab. You know how some of these Arabs look white in their complexion? Look like white people because they are mixed. Arab means a mixed multitude of nations. So the Arabs that you see today is not pure Arabs. Okay, they mix with white people and other Gentile nations. So Muhammad was one of those white Arabs who did not like black people and had black slaves. Period, point blank. Some Muslims that try to say Muhammad was black. Okay, you got Muslims that defend this shit all day. But at the end of the day, Muhammad had black slaves. He started the sub-Saharan slave trade, and Islam was spread through slavery. It is a religion of war and slavery, and it's not the religion of black people. It's not the religion of black people. Like, we ain't supposed to follow no religion at all, but I know a lot of our people say Islam is a black man's religion because of Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Farrakhan, but we ain't supposed to have nothing to do with Islam at all. This whole doctrine enslaved us and destroyed us, and it's false and it's completely made up and it ain't real. It does not come from the Creator. Allah is not the supreme being. And I cannot reiterate that enough. I don't care who get mad. Now we're going to talk about the black stone in Islam. In Islam, it's a black stone built into the Kaaba. I forgot which end of the Kaaba, like the southeast end or something like that. The Muslims say the black stone is a meteorite that fell from heaven. It absorbed all the sins of the Muslims. It turned black when they touch it. That's their story where it came from, but they don't know the origins of it, where it really came from. The black stone in the Kaaba comes from a pre-Islamic moon goddess worship. The god Hubal. Okay, before the Arabs worship Allah, it was a god called Hubal. And Hubal was on top of the Kaaba. The Kaaba already existed before Islam, before Muhammad. Okay, before Abraham and all this shit. Okay, so it was an idol on top of the Kaaba called Hubal. And Hubal had a crescent moon on his chest, representing the moon god. Hubal had 3 daughters. Okay, the 3 daughters was called Alat, Al-Uzza, and Manat, called the 3 daughters of Hubal, who later on they called the 3 daughters of Allah. Okay, so the Arabs used to worship Hubal, Alat, Al-Uzza, and Manat as the moon goddesses. Okay, and the black stone represented the moon god Hubal. Okay, now if you look in today's modern day structure in Mecca, you will see the crescent moon with the star, and that's on top of this big ass clock tower they got in Mecca. It's a huge clock tower, and it's solid gold crescent moon and star on top of the clock tower, and it's the highest thing in the city. Like, they elevated this symbol because Islam comes from ancient moon god worship. All right. Now it says the Kaaba. Oh yeah, the Kaaba is sacred geometry, the magic cube that corresponds with the planet Saturn. So again, the Kaaba, that cube, that box, is sacred geometry. Is ancient. Is way older than Islam. Is older than Abraham. They said Abraham built the Kaaba. Abraham, you know what I'm saying? They said he came here and built the Kaaba with his son, but according to the Quran, that Muhammad was the first warner and messenger to come to Mecca. So Abraham could not have built the Kaaba. Okay, there are other references and researchers that say the Kaaba ain't that old. The Kaaba was built in the 1800s. But whenever it was built, it represents sacred geometry, and it corresponds with the planet Saturn, which is satanic worship. Okay, according to some interpretations. Now, we're going to go over here to talk about how Muhammad is a false prophet. He's saying all of this stuff, the Kaaba and everything, was ordained by Allah. Like, all of this stuff correlates to the true Creator, which it does not. It's a lie. So we're going to go to Surah 69, verse 44. It says, "And if Muhammad made up any false statements concerning this Quran, we will surely seize him by his right hand and sever his aorta." Your aorta is your jugular vein. Okay? Now the Quran is saying if Muhammad lied about anything in this Quran, that his aorta, his jugular vein, is going to be severed. This is what the Quran is saying. Okay, now check this out. Remember those 900 people that Muhammad killed in a single afternoon, had beheaded, and took their women and children as slaves? Now one of those slaves was an old woman. When Muhammad slaughtered her whole family, Muhammad told the woman to go and cook us something to eat. Me and the Muslim men, we tired from killing y'all whole race, from killing the last of y'all tribe. Okay? We killed all y'all men. We beheaded them. We tired. We hungry now. So go cook us something to eat. So this old Jewish woman went and prepared Muhammad and the Muslims something to eat. Some meat, some type of roast, lamb. She poisoned the lamb. She put some poison in it. Now read this hadith. Now check out this hadith. So it says, narrated, Sahih Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 59, number 713. Narrated Aisha. Aisha's the wife of Muhammad, that little 9-year-old girl that he forced into marriage. Okay, she didn't have a say-so in the marriage. She was forced into that marriage at the age of 9 years old, and he raped that little girl. Okay, until she was 18, until he died. And Aisha said, the Prophet said, "O Aisha, I still feel the pain from the food that I ate at Khabar, and at this time I feel like my aorta is being cut from the poison." Because the meat that he ate was poison from the Jewish woman. So he said that the poison, he was saying this on his deathbed, it feels like the poison that he ate, it feels like his aorta is being severed, like his jugular vein is being cut. Okay, because he was a liar. Muhammad was a major liar. He fabricated a whole religion, and he just manipulated his whole race. Okay, he's manipulating the whole world. There's millions of Muslims to this day still being manipulated by this man from beyond the grave. So Islam is evil, and I recommend that anybody who's involved in Islam research the origins of Islam and where this stuff come from. This shit is completely fabricated. It's made up. It ain't real. It ain't authentic. Okay, this is witchcraft. This is black magic. This will put you under mind control. You trying to follow Islam, your life will be miserable. Allah will not bless your life. You will not be happy. All right, and that's all I got to say on that. I'm speaking facts. I'm bringing out receipts. And I'm doing this because, you know what I'm saying, people might be in Islam, might be thinking about being a Muslim, or might not know nothing about it and need to be properly educated on this religion and where it comes from, and that it ain't real and it is not for us. It is false spirituality. It is a doctrine of devils. And it's a soul bender. I love y'all. Peace. Until next time. Y'all stay up.